Hello, everyone. It's Catherine Maley. I'm author of Your Aesthetic Practice, and I have now deemed myself the cosmetic patient attraction and conversion specialist because I've been at this for so long now. That's really what my strong suit is. I am that cosmetic patient, and I'm trying to help you get more of me's. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. So here's what we're going to talk about. The current frustrations that are typically happening in practices, and I know this because I speak to the practices every day, and I get calls all the time. And a lot of the calls come in during the summer, and they're the SOS calls. And here's what the doctors are saying: things are slowing down this summer. My staff needs to stay busy. My overhead continues even though things are slow. And then there are too many holes in my schedule. Now, I'm going to assume some of that is happening to you as well. So here's what you're going to discover in spending some time together today. And we won't go, I'll maybe present for 30-ish minutes, and then we'll open it up for discussion while I also give you a special offer. So here's what you're going to discover: what you can do now to heat up your summer profits, and then simple strategies to boost your skincare to surgery revenues, and then where to focus your efforts during the dog days of summer. So just in case you're not familiar with me, because a lot of times my emails get passed around from doctor to staff or staff to staff. So I'm Catherine Maley. I wrote a book called Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying. It's been a super popular book in our industry because people are trying to understand, cosmetic practices are trying to understand the patient. So I went out and interviewed them for you. And then I do a lot of speaking around the country, actually the world. I'm heading to Madrid this fall. I love that. I've never been to Madrid, actually, but I speak for a lot of the associations. And I don't know if any of you were at the Vegas meeting this past last month, but it was fantastic. And then I write for a lot of the journals or the medical magazines in our industry. I've been around for 16 years, so I do really understand you, the staff, you, the plastic surgeon or the cosmetic physician. And I also really understand the cosmetic patient and what they want and don't want, why they chose you over someone else, and so on. So here's what I'm going to recommend. If you're in a summer slump right now, here's the glib answer. You shouldn't be. If you had planned your year out already, you would have covered yourself for this because you see it coming every year, right? But here's what I'm learning. This is a mindset shift. A lot of us, and I've done it too, we're all guilty of it. We say, oh, things slow down in the summer. Don't we always say that? Things slow down in the summer. It's our mentality that is slowing down. I think we have talked ourselves into that. So yes, it does slow down in the summer because you believe it does, and also because you didn't plan for it not to. Does that make sense? So this isn't one of those talks right now. I have plenty of those throughout the year, like how to set yourself up to succeed month after month. But for today, we're just going to assume that it's slow this summer, although it shouldn't have been. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the trends. And here's one of them. There are still social trends that are on working for you in your favor. Things like a change in marital status. That happens all year long. People are suddenly single, or all of a sudden they're out in the dating pool again, or perhaps their job changed. Maybe they quit their job, or they were freed from their job, otherwise known as fired, or they were laid off. And then the social events are huge in the summer. They're not just weddings. There are reunions. There are barbecues. There are family get-togethers with sibling rivalry, like that, that sister that you've been competing with forever. There's just so many little things going on socially throughout the summer, especially because the weather's good, that people want to look good for. Okay. Now, there are also economic trends that work very well all year long, and especially in the summer. So businesses have a tendency, because we just talked about it, our mentality is things slow down. So business can slow down in the summer, which becomes the perfect time for a super busy executive to have things done. Also, there's bonus payouts. A lot of companies do quarterly payouts, and that was June 30th. So there's a chance some of your patients have a windfall and they would love to give some of that disposable income to you. There are also divorce settlements and inheritance. I read an article, the inheritance is crazy out of control for the baby boomers because the baby boomers' parents came from the Depression era and they were real big savers. A lot of that money is trickling down now to the baby boomers. And so they've got a lot of disposable income available to them. They just need some help spending it. And that's where you come in and our strategies come in. And then the funny part is though the baby boomers are saying, I'm spending that money as fast as I can. So the newer generation is not going to enjoy the inheritance like the other one did. And then there's that technology trend. This one works for and against you. If you're a surgeon, it's working against you because now the advancements in technology are so incredible. You can now offer a pretty good result for less downtime, less scarring. It's less invasive. There's less pain involved. It's cheaper and it's faster. Boy, that is fantastic. It's got pros and cons. Doesn't everything though? There's a paradox to everything. The good news is it's great for the patient because it gives them what they want, which are all of these benefits here. The downside is they're now so ridiculously expecting the best for nothing, like they really want that great surgical results for less downtime, less scarring, less invasive, less pain, cheaper, faster. And that's just not what's going to happen. So I give talks on that throughout the year because you have to set patient expectations when it comes to technology versus surgery. And that's a whole other discussion. But in the summer, this works to your advantage because let's say it's true. Let's say not many patients want to be stuck in the house, recovering from surgery when they could be out in their bathing suits and shorts running around. So let's say that is true. Well, then use your technology to offer them this side of your aesthetic practice. Okay? Because here's what I know for sure. You cater to a very hungry market, and that is cosmetic patients who have endless needs. They want to look good today and tomorrow and next week and next year, and they'll work their way up and down this staircase here. Depending on what you offer, they'll go up and down all day long. And trust me, I have spent a fortune of my own personal income going up and down this staircase. So what happens is your cosmetic patients enter your practice through very many doors. For example, they might have shown up initially for surgery. Let's say you were just doing a surgical procedure, like a one-hit wonder kind of surgical procedure. Well, if you nurture them and stay in touch, they'll work their way down this staircase. They'll go from surgery down to, let's say, a non-invasive body contouring treatment. Then they'll go to fillers or Botox and microdermabrasion. And I love that new microneedling thing, and the facial peels and retail products. Or you had a different strategy, or somehow you marketed to them just, let's say, Botox. Well, now they can start in the middle and they can go up the staircase to fillers, body shaping, and surgery, or they can go down and go into the microderm and the microneedling and the peels and the retail products. But that's what I love about our industry. You should never be a one-hit wonder ever, because it doesn't make any sense. A cosmetic patient who wants to look good is open to all sorts of these treatments and procedures available to them. So let's talk about strategies that are going to work now in the hot days of the summer. Of course, email is always, and again, it's another paradox. Email is the best thing that ever happened and then the worst thing, because email is cheap and it's easy if you know what you're doing, of course. But here are the components you need for good email. It's got to be themed. Theme makes it fun and makes it timely. And that's why you see this email here. It's themed with, it's got the bikini with the sunglasses and the tan. So, and it's got the right words. It's got to be informative and it's got to have catchy headlines. So we use curvy, carefree, confident you starts now. If you think about that emotionally, boy, think about the cosmetic patient getting into a bathing suit. Haven't we all dreaded that experience? So confidence is what they're looking for, in the summer. So that's what you're going to put in your catchy headline, the word confident you, or the words confident you. You also need special offers and a tight expiration date. That's just a fact of life, because when you're emailing somebody, you know how many emails you're getting and you're inundated with them. And the email open rate is awful. It just keeps going down every day. So while you believe you're emailing to all of your patients, do you realize the average open rate is only 19.9%? So you're only talking to, 19% of your patients, and the other 81% are being ignored. But that's another story. Anyway, your emails need to be eye-catching, fun, entertaining, and compelling. And the reason they're compelling is because you need them to do something. You don't want them to just read the email. You want them to pick up the phone and call you. So that's why you need a really killer special offer. And then a tight expiration date, because we're all so busy and everybody would rather just put it off than do it now, if you think about it. So the reason you're adding an expiration date is to um, zap that procrastination element that we all have. So you need them to act now rather than wait. Here's another idea that works super well. Now, at this point in the summer, I'm talking about quality rather than quantity in this strategy. I call this the slice and dice letters. These are very specific letters to very specific people in your database. For example, I love the group that came in for a surgical procedure consult and never booked. And I know you can't stand that group because they didn't say yes. They said, I have to think about it. I have to talk to my husband. I don't think I can afford it. And what happens? They just fall into that dead file, don't they? That's the group that you want to pull out in the summer and be strategic with. For example, you offer them a new finance program. And you can I don't know if there's a new finance program, but it's new if they've never heard about it before. So talk to your finance company, find out what's the most attractive thing they're offering in the summer, because it behooves them to help your patients afford this procedure. So have them help you with some of these strategies. Now, send this letter only to those people on the fence, because you're going to offer them a very special offer and make it so compelling that they jump off the fence and they say yes to you now. Now, some of you are saying, oh, but they were going to go to the competitor. They told me that they got a cheaper price elsewhere. You cannot for sure know that. Or maybe if you do know it for sure, then drop them and just add them to your email list and keep in touch periodically. But if you're not sure about that, don't assume anything. This industry is so full of emotional decision making. There's a chance they went to other competitors and now they got confused, so they decided to do nothing, or it was all too overwhelming for them. So can you imagine if they were still on the fence and they got this summer letter from you that's heartfelt? It's got a compelling offer with a tight expiration date, and now none of their competitors sent that. That could have been just what they needed to say yes to you versus somebody else. You just never know. That's why I always keep trying. And the thing about the letter is, who can complain about this? It's a really nice letter. It's heartfelt, it's sincere, it's got a great offer, and you're only sending it to those who would most resonate with the message in that letter. You're not just shooting this out to just anybody. But here's the secret. The really good professional practices follow up with a phone call. And then they have a nice script that they're following. Something like, hi, Sally, it's Catherine with Dr. Smith's office. I wanted to make sure you got that letter. And if you did, I want to get your feedback on it. What do you think about that new finance offer or finance program we're offering? And then you just zip it and let her explain they explain what they thought about the letter. It's shocking what you're going to learn when you take the time to go deeper, and you're going to find out things like, gosh, Catherine, thanks for calling me. You know what? I have been on the fence about this. I talked to your other two competitors. This is what they told me, which is super great research information for you. And this is what I decided to do. I decided to wait for a while, for whatever reason. And that starts the whole discussion about how can you give that person what they need now so they say yes to you rather than somebody else. Now, you also want to think about theme summer specials because it really is a sense of urgency that you're trying to establish here, especially if you're trying to get people off the beach and into your office, right? So come up with some fun things like free sunblock with wrinkle filler. I mean, wrinkle filler is always hot, always hot all year long. So, but come up with some kind of packages you can put together. Or like maybe minimally invasive body contouring treatment introductory offer. And then you'll say, well, let's say, for example, you have Cool Sculpt and you say, oh, well, we've had Cool Sculpt for 2 years, but you're introducing it to them. So you can always reintroduce something and call it an introductory offer. And then you can do things like free Botox with skin tightening. Get creative with compelling reasons for them to come in now versus wait. And then I love things like look hot this summer. You're really trying to touch their emotional hot button. And what is that? In the summer, it's back to confidence, back to looking good in shorts and sleeveless shirts and looking good when you're going to see people you don't normally see throughout the year. You're trying to tap into that kind of emotion. And then don't forget about your in-house signage. This is a perfect time in the summer to look around your office and see what kind of signage you've got going there or if it needs improvement. If you ever hear anybody say, hey, I didn't know you did that, that's exactly what in-house signage does for you. So if you hear that, look around your office right now, walk through it as a stranger would and say, is our signage explaining clearly what it is we offer here? If not, use some of these. Put together a menu of services poster and segment it by surgical procedures versus non-surgical treatments versus, trying to read it myself, versus like skincare. And then procedural FAQs. As much as we believe that the patients know everything about every procedure because of the internet, because the internet, you just Google everything, they've never heard it from you. So if you put together your own procedural FAQs, which are frequently asked questions, it's a better way for them to connect with you because in your own words, you're explaining what the procedure is like. And then I love floor banners. These are those really tall banners. And I got this idea at the trade shows that I go to. They use banners there all the time. So why wouldn't we use them in the practice? And what I like about them is they're very tall but super skinny so they don't take up any room. And look at all of the real estate on there. So I would have specific summer floor banners like this one, get your curves back and show some skin this summer, and put it up in your office just to make sure everybody walking through knows you offer some type of summer thing. And I also love before and after photos in there. And then this I call the Ask Me About tool. It's a digital photo frame. If you're not using these, you really should. But here's my take on this. I know a lot of you have that DVD that plays in the reception area and it talks to them about the procedures you offer. The issue with that is it's talking. And if it's talking, it can be aggravating to certain people, especially your staff who's had to listen to it 500 times, but also to the patient who doesn't like to be pushed or sold to. I prefer a silent picture show. It's silent because now you're not offending anybody. They can look at it or not look at it, but it's amazing how eye-catching it is. Your eye will keep going there because they're watching your beautiful work going around in pictures. And it really is true. A picture is worth a million words, or however that goes. So fill that thing up with all your surgical procedures, frankly, all of your procedures, but show off your work because I guarantee if you let this thing go around, let's say in your reception area on the big screen, as well as these digital frames that sit on your counters, you want to put those in the exam rooms where patients are stewing, waiting for you. By the way, they're not waiting too long. They're just waiting a little bit. But there's, 7 out of 10 times you'll enter the room and they'll comment on the before and after photos they saw in there, and then they'll want to know more. It is just such a great way to get that conversation started about what else could you do for them. Then there's check-in and check-out display. I love checkout because so much money is left there. Checkout's a really big deal. You're not just closing up for the day, closing up their order for the day. You're selling retail, but you do it in a fun way. And I like this. If you just went to a dollar store, for example, I think those are still around, just buy some cheap stuff. But here's what you do. You fill up like a fun sandbox and you put some sand in it, and then you put sunglasses in there and umbrellas and sandals, and then fill it up with your skincare products or any retail products that you sell. And then include a sign that says, need a quick gift. And then you've got the gift cards there. It's a really fun way to bump up their average order size for the day because now they want to add a sunscreen or refill their skin products, or they want to buy a gift certificate because their sister's birthday is in the summer, their girlfriend's birthday is in the summer. They have to go to let's say a bridal shower. That'd be a great gift for a bridal shower. And it doesn't have to be 200. I'm just showing that here. But what a fun way to increase the order size for the day, but also get a new patient out of it because they get a gift certificate, and also just to keep them bonded with your practice. Coming back for more retail products is always a great way to keep them connected to you. But also at checkout, you've got to have some kind of element to make sure they're clear that you are interested in their referrals of friends and family. I wouldn't take this lightly anymore. I would actually spend more time on this than anything else you're doing, because the shortest distance between you and new patients is always word of mouth referrals, isn't it? Always. I mean, look back at all the patients you have. Where did most of them come from? They came from word of mouth referrals. So make a bigger deal out of it. And I personally would have a paper trail attached to it, because you want to know who came to you referred. Now, number one, you just want to know that. And number two, you want to thank the person who referred them. So for example, an easy way to do this, again, at checkout. And the reason you have this display set up at checkout is because they've got their wallet open, paying you with their credit card. They look over and see this sign that says the greatest compliment you could ever pay us is to refer our practice to your friends and family. And then it says, please take a referral card today. We actually tweak that. Now we say, please take some cards, like take a lot of cards if you want them. And and it's sincerely from the surgeon. And now they grab some of the cards, they put them in their wallet, and sure enough, they're at their reunion, they're at their bridal shower party, they're at the barbecues, and guess what subject comes up? Especially if a bunch of women are standing around, it can't hurt. There's a really good chance they're going to be talking about the celebrities, which are the Kardashians, which are then the plastic surgery, and all the celebrities and the TV shows. Isn't it amazing how much we talk about plastic surgery in today's world? So now they could literally pull out your card and say, I happen to know somebody who's really good, and then they vouch for you, brag about you, and you've got some new patients. Love that one. Here's another way to do this, a refer a friend perk card. I like anything that's got a 2-for-1. Any way you can get a comfortable new patient into your office. It can be awkward. It is awkward to be a new anybody anywhere. When you walk into a practice, it is awkward for the cosmetic patient. They're already uncomfortable about something pertaining to themselves, so they're already feeling awkward. Then they have to meet all these new people. They have to meet the surgeon. They're out of their element, out of their comfort zone for sure. So anytime you can get a refer a friend to come together, like a 2-for-1 friend program, I love that. Either 2-for-1, either they're both two new people coming to you, which is fantastic, or it's one of your patients who's bringing a friend with, and now they both get something. So for example, I love using facials or peels. I like using even more because they're faster and there's no overhead or very little overhead cost to them. But this one was buy a package of facials, but see how I wrote facials? You could have peels, you could have anything. One for you, one for your friend, and save $50. So be creative, come up with something that makes a lot of sense for you, and then pass these cards out all over the community and, of course, through your current patients. And then do you see on the back of the card, they're going to write in their name and phone number and their friend's name and phone number, because you're going to thank them for referring, and then you're going to take good care of them. Because what I notice is people who do something nice for somebody else appreciate being appreciated, right? Don't you love being acknowledged for doing something nice for somebody? Of course you do. We all do. So the point there is to make a really big deal out of it when somebody refers to you. Thank them, give them a little extra Botox on their next visit, have the surgeon personally call them, anything to make them feel special and appreciated. If you're a big breast dog practice, you could always try the bring a friend and split the consult fee. That's a whole other discussion as well. But I will tell you, the breast dog patient, is notorious for not showing up for appointments. So a lot of you have added a consult fee, which I think is a really good idea, because you only want serious people in your office. But then again, you're going to miss a lot of people who wouldn't dream of paying a consult fee, so you've got to figure that out for yourselves. But let's say here's a hybrid of that. You charge a consult fee. Maybe it's not a huge fee, but you're not charging it to get rich. You're charging it to get them to show up. So why don't you try this spin? If they split the consult fee, now you've got 2 prospective new patients, and it was for minimal cost on their end, and you have a better chance of converting one or both of them. Then using these tools, I would say the summer, if it is slower, you have a lot more time to educate the patient. You can slow down now on your consultations by using these tools. I really hope you're using these, because it's always great for a cosmetic patient to see your before and after photos of other patients. I like that a lot, but there is nothing more compelling than seeing your own face or your own body on the screen and seeing the possibilities for yourself. Frankly, you need both in today's world. But boy, if there's some way you can get good at these tools and incorporate them into your consultations, I think you're going to close a lot more. And also make it fun. If you have summer events, use these at the summer events to make this a fun thing to do. I know when many, many years ago, I used to be like a traveling marketing consultant to plastic surgeons, and I would do events. I did a really high-end event at a golf tournament, and we had a tent with all the vendors in it, and I did the computer imaging for face. They ate it up. They could not get enough of it. Everybody loved to see themselves before and after. It was just a fun event. And then I passed out the surgeon's card to them for a consultation. And then I also got their information, so I was able to follow up. That was just a golden way to introduce the possibility of facial rejuvenation to them. So think about that. Now, I also have had very good luck in practices who do in-house seminars or in-house events. You can do big fun parties if you want, or do barbecues outside and make it a big deal. But what happens is sometimes it becomes just a big party and you forget the intent, which is to sell. It really, it should be a money revenue generating event. Some of you say, oh, no, that's way too capitalistic. No, actually, you're in the business to make money, because you can't help anybody if you're not profitable. So you always want to be strategic about your events and your seminars. I would test smaller, intimate events where they have a lot more face-to-face time with you. Sometimes bigger is not better. Sometimes a smaller group that you can go deeper with, get to know better, be more physical, like physically spend more time with them face to face, eyeball to eyeball, that could go even a longer way than just having this big party where nobody even met you because there were too many people there. So if you think this is a good idea, make a fun, call them like your summer skin events or your summer sun events, something catchy, and then have demonstrations, Have people there who have had a lot of your procedures so they can be your testimonials. And vendors would love to help you with this kind of stuff. Vendors, by the way, for some of you, you think vendors are a nuisance. I would say vendors can be your best friends. They've got the creative strategies, they've got the tools, and they've got some budget to help you to help them help you. And they've got free samples, they've got free product I would actually work with them, especially in the summer. Let them help you get through the summer slump. Now, summer's also the perfect time to sharpen your saw. And that means, how during the year you don't get anything done because you're so busy? Well, in the summer, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you're not busy, but then still not get anything done. So if it really is slow around there, do things like update your photos on the website, or add more photos, or spend some time getting more online reviews. Clean up your office. Get rid of all the paper and the boxes and the storage stuff. Like, really clean the place up. It's also a great time to renovate your office. If you've been wanting to switch from carpet to tile, get that done in the summer while you're slow, or do a paint job, or get new furniture. It's really a great time to really spruce up your look. Now, here's something else I highly, highly recommend. Take some time, block some time actually, because nothing ever gets done unless you block the time and actually get it done and do it. Get the whole team together to improve your processes. What I mean by that is, I would start where the patient starts, follow through every single step they go through in your process, and figure out what you can do to improve their overall experience with you when they're visiting with you at each stage. For example, it's all the processes from inquiring about you, handling the phone call, converting them to an appointment. Then here's the office visit. Like, what happens when they visit your office? Then how do they learn more? How are you educating them? Then how are you getting them through the consultation to a yes, which is a closed procedure? And then after their procedure, how are you following up with them so they return again, so they give you a testimonial, they give you an online review, and they give you referrals? I bet you've never done it like this before, and this is just a perfect exercise for you to do this. Really go deep and look at the details of every step your patient goes through, because your goal is to give them a wow patient experience, not a good experience, a wow patient experience. So it starts with fixing your phones. I do an awful lot of training on this because the phones are just so darn important. If that patient cannot get through by the third ring to a human being, fix that. This is a patient trying to hand you a credit card with cash. There's no insurance form. There's no fiddling around. It is cash that you put in the bank that night. You want them to be able to get a hold of you and answer their questions, and then get them booked and get them in there. So fix your phones. And by the way, would you please stop putting the phones on answering service at lunchtime? That's just, you really want to be available for the patient when they're available. And you also need to stop the phone trees. You've just got to figure out how to get that patient to a live human being immediately. So I do give you the 5 phone fixes in the tracking form. Actually, you can go on my website and download this for free. It's the 5 phone fixes, and it's not all of the fixes, but if you have a brand new receptionist and she or he doesn't know what's going on, at least get the 5 phone fixes in front of them by the phone, so they answer, so they get the most pertinent information available. And then fix your no-shows. That's a really big deal in our industry. Some practices are really struggling with that. You can certainly start offering a consult fee, but you have to know your area. Consult fees work very well in certain areas and actually bomb in other areas. So you have to test it. But in case you're not going to do a consult fee, at least have a no-show policy in place. And that means, as long as you mention it in your website and on your phone reminders, it gives them a chance to go, ooh, they take this pretty seriously. I better show up. One of the reasons they're not showing up, though, is they don't know you. They don't have a relationship with you. So here's what I highly recommend. Send them your shock and awe package. You can put this in hard copy in the mail, or you can do it digitally, but it's kind of like bringing your website back to them. You don't want to send them back to your website because that opens them up to see your competitors again. You take all of the pertinent information and you put it in a PDF streamed file that you send to them, or you hard copy it and mail it to them. But do you see the last one? It's got the cancellation policy. You just are very clear with that patient why they want to show up to meet you, because you've developed a relationship with them. You've shown how professional you are with all of this. You showed them before and after photos and testimonials. You gave them a map, because a lot of people, they don't show up because they can't find your office. So they just don't bother. This could actually help a lot with the no-shows. And then you've got to fix your conversion rates. And that's also a huge topic. But I'll just give you the basics here. Here are some tips to convert more. Ask better questions. Show more social proof, offer creative financing, and here's the big one, ask for a decision. Ask. Too many patient coordinators wrap it up by saying, okay, so do you have any questions? All right then. Well, here you go. Thanks a lot for visiting us. That's not how you do it. You actually have to be trained to do this properly. So here are some tools to sharpen your skills. A lot of you are on this because you follow my calendar here. I have a calendar of online events, and it's right on our website. And the events happen all year long. And I'll go into much more detail about how to fix your phones, how the coordinator can get to a yes from a consultation. And then there are all sorts of different webinars. So please make sure to check those out. And then here's my big announcement. We have a summer slump sale that starts later in the month, but I'm giving it to you ahead of time because you're on this webinar. So because you're on here, you're going to get 50% off and free shipping on our patient attraction and staff training tools. So here's our really big one. It's called How To Series Library, and it comes with 12 modules. And these have been a big deal for a lot of practices who really want to get good at this. So each module contains one topic, and that topic is in a complete audio and visual PowerPoint presentation that I narrate. So it's like a webinar that I'm doing right now, but it's on a disc, and they're all around 30 minutes. You can just pop them in and use them for staff training. And then that second DVD is 4 graphic design editable PDF files that you can customize and use. So whenever in my talks, whenever I'm showing you a graphic, I actually also give you the plug and play graphic design file for you to customize yourself. And then you also get the complete text. It's like the guidebook, because sometimes you say, you know what, I don't want to watch the whole webinar right now. I just need to see that one idea you had. So you go to the guidebook and you can just see the slides and the transcript. And then I put them all in a white vinyl case for bookshelf storage. So you've got this for the rest of your career. Now, the 12 modules, the topics include differentiating you from your competitors, set up in-house marketing, use email marketing effectively, see a surge of patients in 30 days, coordinate successful open house, get famous in your community, how to promote retail profitably, how to conduct a successful patient consult, how to build word of mouth practice, how to turn phone calls into profits, how to advertise effectively, and then how to double your aesthetic profits. So here's what Dr. Lehman said. These tools are fantastic. The ready-made graphics give us the good ideas we need each month, so we know exactly what to do without guessing. We get an extra $3,000 to $5,000 per month in additional revenues, and the hard work is already done for us. Now, in case the how-to is too much for you, we have a simplified version called 50 Ways to Attract More Cosmetic Patients. And that's got 50 strategies. I don't go into any detail, though. It's got the proven plug-and-play graphic templates, and they're for image marketing, in-house marketing, internal marketing, and external marketing. So, for example, oh, by the way, Dr. Fine says your strategies have doubled my volume. Love that. So here are some examples in the 50 ways. Like, remember I mentioned the menu of services? Well, you get that in your 50 ways, and you can just customize it. It's actually in the how-to as well. But the 50 ways is just like a much condensed version of the how-to modules. But here's what happened. I had a facial plastic surgeon slash derm practice use this menu, and it was worth $100,000 extra that year in revenues because so many of their patients had no idea. The derm patients didn't know the facial work that they did. The facial patients didn't know the derm work that they did. So that was a huge profit idea for them. And then there's the gift card that I talked about, the gift certificate. I had a holiday gift certificate that, and the plastic surgery practice got 22 new patients just from this gift certificate. And then here's that strategy 30. It's the on the fence letter that I talked about who didn't book. I had a surgery practice send this out. They got $56,000 from it and 22 new patients. Isn't that amazing? And then this last one, they did an invitation to a seminar for a plastic surgeon, and they ended up getting $37,000 of revenues from that. So these are fantastic. Then if you're interested in staff training, I have the hard cover things called Convert More Callers and Consults. So one of them is called Exceptional Receptionist, and the other one is Staff Scripting for Success. And they come together as a combo. So you get the scripts, the audio CDs, and the guidebooks. Now, sometimes the practices say, should I get the hard copy or should I just wait and do your online training from your calendar of events? And I say it depends. If your patient or if your staff likes to read and have hard copy, then get those because they'll have tangible things in the office for them to look at again and again so they don't forget about them. Otherwise, they can just attend my online events, and the difference there is they're live. So if the staff has questions, I'm going to answer them right then and there. But with the hard copy, I can't do that. You just have them for a lifetime. So here's what Dr. Smith said. Of all the marketing material I've read and used, Catherine's are by far the best. Her staff guidebooks make the difference between success and failure in converting calls and procedures. So I'd like you to go now to cosmeticimagemarketing.com and you click on the products tab, and then the promo code is summer. And when you put summer in, you're going to see that you get half off of the purchase price plus free shipping. And now I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. So if you've got any questions about this or whatever I covered just now, go ahead and put them in the question box and I will answer them as best I can. Okay, there's an email question about how did you design that email? Well, that's a good question. You can always use Constant Contact or Ask Emma or any of those, but they don't know how to do the content. So you have to know a few things. You have to know how to write compelling copy, so your patients want to read it. And that just comes from marketing. I just happen to have a very strong sales and marketing background, and I learned it. I go to marketing conferences. I have products galore. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing products. I just love marketing. So you can do that, or you can wait until we actually offer that product here ourselves, but we're not going to offer until later in the fall. But you can always just give it a try. Give it a try with one of those email platforms. Something is better than nothing. But please follow those components that I gave you. It needs to be themed, informative. It's got to have the catchy headline, special offers, and the expiration date. Let's see. There's a question about how much do you give somebody who refers a patient? Like what incentive do you give them? And in our industry, we have to be careful with that. You don't want any fee splitting. However, in the real world, people do like something nice to happen when they do something nice for you. So I really struggle with this because in any other industry, you can bribe people for referring their friends and family. And in our industry, it's not, it's really looked down upon because it is a medical treatment is the point. And I get that too. So you want to use a hybrid of that. First of all, you want to give your current patients awesome customer service, the kind of service that they want to brag about to their friends, right? And then you want to take good care of them when they become good referral sources for you. And it doesn't have to be cash. You know, it probably shouldn't be cash. However, I would say it's something. It's either a handwritten thank you note, a phone call to them, a little extra Botox, nothing in writing. I would say maybe you do points. You know how, but points are so complicated. I hate when it gets complicated because then nobody wants to do it because it's too complicated. But do what you can to show your thankfulness and your gratefulness for their loyalty, and do a little extra something, something for them. And that's all I'll say on that, but do something. Okay, there's a question about we can't fix our phones because it's through a hospital. Um, here's what I've heard that a lot actually, and you can do something. Just because it's the hospital doesn't mean you're completely hogtied. Is that a word? I'm not actually from a farm, but here's what I would suggest. If you want to get serious about cosmetic patients because you want to grow your cosmetic versus the insurance side of your practice, you've got to get creative about this. One thought is to get your own practice cell phone, your own cosmetic practice cell phone, and now market a special phone number just for cosmetic, and then have that phone attached to you at all times. Have your staff share the responsibility of the phone or pass it off a certain days or hours, but have them eliminate the hospital phone tree altogether by using just a completely different phone number. That's what I would do. You know what, DR, I know you're asking, are there any specific phone systems that I would recommend? It's not so much the system as it is the protocol of the system. The system will do anything you want it to do. It'll answer the phone in 1 ring or 5 rings. It'll set up a phone tree. It'll take messages. So it's not so much the system. It's the how seriously do you want to get that cosmetic patient into your office? So if you can't get that phone answered by a human being, at least if you are, let's say, for example, you just have busy phones, period, or you close at lunchtime and you're just going to do that, at least have a killer office answering machine or a plan B office service, a receptionist service. You can even Google those. Those are amazing. You don't want to use the medical call centers because they're awful. The new call centers are unbelievable. They have trained the staff to be friendly and happy and open and use their voice and how may I help you? And I'd get, they're just fantastic. So spend some time, just Google this stuff. It's all out there and research things. But I take the phone so seriously because no one's ever going to meet you if they can't get through the phones. And the phones, what a shame. I guarantee you're losing, 10 to 30% revenues that you would have gotten had you somehow figured out your phone system. Okay, and with that, I'm going to close it off. So if you have any other questions, you can always ask me online at my website. So go to cosmetikimagemarketing.com, click on the products tab, put in that promo code SUMMER, and you're just, it's a really nice deal for you to get through this summer. Oh, I almost forgot this part. The first 5 who order, sorry about this, the first 5 who order are going to get my free book, and I'm going to initial it for you. I'm going to autograph it for you. How great is that, huh? So you also get a no risk guarantee. All of my products and services are always guaranteed because I've been doing this for 16 years and I have a reputation and I stand behind everything I'm offering to you. My only goal in life for cosmetic image marketing is to get you more patients and more profits. And I'm doing that with patient attraction strategies and with consulting and with helping your staff help you. So that's what we've got to offer here. So please head over there to cosmetikimagemarketing.com, click on products, put in the promo code SUMMER, and I will see you again at the numerous other trainings I'm going to hold this year. Thanks so much for joining me. Talk to you later.